So this is the Kuat Pivot V2 swing arm. This is a really cool accessory made by Kuat. Some other brands make these also, but this is Kuat's take on the entire design. Now what the Kuat Pivot V2 allows you to do is swing out any 2-inch hitch bike rack out 90 degrees or 120 degrees. This is a really nice accessory if you have a spare tire on the back of your vehicle, like a lot of Jeeps. So instead of buying an extension arm to get past that tire, this will be the actual extension arm with the function of being able to swing it out of the way. But if you don't have a tire on the back of your vehicle, no worries. My Tacoma here doesn't have one, and it's super easy to get into the tailgate now with this swing arm actually on there. And the nice part about it is the only requirement to actually be able to use this particular swing arm is that you need a Class 3 2-inch hitch receiver. Most trucks, vans, and SUVs have it, and as long as it's Class 3, you can put the Pivot V2 on there. Now the current position that I have this in is the 90-degree position. This will allow you to get full access to your trunk, your tailgate, or your hatch without any obstruction. Most racks these days, including the Piston Pro X, do have a tilt feature that allows you to actually get into your tailgate or your hatch, but that still means that you have to squeeze around your bikes to be able to get in here and actually get some stuff. And if you're camping or you have a lot of stuff in the back, say some bigger items, you're gonna want your rack to be able to swing away so you can get full access to everything. For example, if you had a cooler in the bed of your truck, it's so much easier to get to it whenever the rack will actually pivot out of the way instead of just tilting. Now this will go beyond this 90 degrees all the way up to 120 degrees, but you do need to be careful whenever you do that with the bikes on it or the bike rack on there. You basically want to make sure before you fully open this up that it's not going to hit your vehicle in any way. Depending on the width of your vehicle and the length of your bike rack, they could interfere with each other and you don't want to see any damage to your vehicle. On my Tacoma, with these particular bikes and the Piston Pro X, I have no worries about that. It will open all the way up to 120 degrees without touching my vehicle at all. So that's open to 120 degrees now. I still have plenty of space between my vehicle. So on this particular setup, it works really well and it gives you so much more space. So if you're out camping or hanging out during a race or after a ride, you could set some lawn chairs down here or get access to the back of the bed of your truck. This is such a nice feature to be able to have all this access and easily swing the bikes away. Now, a couple things, whenever you get ready to swing this arm back, there's a couple things you want to pay attention to. If you have lights on your rack like I do, just make sure that the cable isn't going to get in the way or get pinched on the pivot. And then also, whenever you swing this over with bikes on, it's going to have some weight on it. So they have this little piece right here that's angled that will help push the pivot up on top of this portion of the pivot. So let's go ahead and pull this rack back. All you have to do is pull this release right here with your thumb, and then you can start pulling the bikes. Once you get it past the 90-degree point, you can let go of that little unlock button. And then once you get it to the point where it's gonna touch the other part of the pivot, just simply give it a good tug and it'll just pop right up there. That easy. The next step that you're going to want to do is just simply lock it into place, make sure everything's secure, and if you do have lights on this, make sure that the cable is up off the ground. So currently the Kuat Pivot V2 is really kind of competitively priced whenever you compare it to some of the other competition out there. A lot of these you'll see over the $500 to upwards of $600 range. Kuat has this nicely priced at $449. And if you guys want to pick one up, I'll put some links down below. If you use those links, it does come back and help out this channel at no additional cost to you. Now, another key feature of the Pivot V2 is that it actually raises the rack up. So if you run into an issue where sometimes your vehicle is pretty low and going up steep driveways or down some rough roads, you're worried about the bike rack actually bottoming out. With the V2, it actually raises this up an entire 2 to 2.5 inches. So the bike rack is going to sit up nice and high. Even though it sticks out further, it's going to be higher than what it would be if you didn't use the Pivot V2. The other nice feature of the Pivot V2 is that it actually extends it out. So if you have a Jeep or something that has a tire on the back, you're going to have plenty of room for that tire. You're not going to have to use a traditional extension arm to run your bike rack. You can use this as the extension, allowing you to put the bike rack on and then also have that pivot feature. Without this, there's no way you can walk behind a bike rack like this or open up a tailgate without having to tilt the actual bike rack down. But with this extension of the Pivot V2, you've got plenty of access. Now on the Pivot V2, you can either get this in a driver's side swing or a passenger side swing. This particular one is the driver's side swing. It simply just means it swings towards the driver's side. Now, a couple of things, you are gonna get this really nice heavy duty U-lock with this nice rubber coated handle. This will actually lock into place right over here. So here's where the U-lock actually locks into. So this is one of two locks keeping the swing arm completely locked into place whenever you're not trying to use it. And to keep the Kuat Pivot looking nice, they do have this kind of piece of plastic here that the metal will slide onto, making it easy to slide back and forth and not damage or scratch any of the paint that's actually on the pivot. And just like all Kuats, you are going to get a hitch cam lock system. Basically what this is it allows you to turn this bolt here. It pushes a ball out on the inside of the hitch, causing this to not have any type of wobble whatsoever. This is one of the best systems that I've seen when it comes to bike rack anti-wobble setups. And you will get a locking hitch pin with the Pivot V2. And there you go, the Kuat Pivot V2 is an awesome add-on if you're wanting to swing your bike rack away so you can get access to the back of your vehicle, your truck, or if you happen to have a spare tire on the back of your car. This extends it out, raises it up, and makes it super versatile. If you guys want to pick one up, I'll put some links down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, hit that like button, subscribe button, and as always, get out there and ride your bike.
Thought you was a threat. I do real life, do no tip.